All right, so we arrive at the last session of the day one. Another interesting topic, art of corporate feedback using Indian aesthetic theory by Jui. I haven't introduced you Jui yet. So Zoe is a transformation and coaching experience. She has an experience in the areas
you can read out.
all right. Of the product development and engineering excellence, leadership transformation with various enterprise agile models, BizOps, DevOps, SAFe, and agile transformation frameworks, Scrum, Kanban, and XP. So over to you, Zoe.
Sure. I would like to also take a moment to introduce my team along with me. So I'm Jui Kudav. I'm the principal agilist and way of working lead for continental Europe customers in the BFS domain. I belong to Cognizant and I have a team here with me, Manish, Aparna and Neha. So today session is not going to be a classic session where I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to be a narrator for a script. So this is a completely different delivery model of a presentation which we will present in front of you in the form of a skit today. And of course the topic is, as you can see, at least I am dressed in Indian Indian attire because there is a theme. We will explain you today the art of feedback using Indian aesthetic techniques. So that is the theme of today's conversation. And I have with me Manish, Aparna and Neha. Manish has helped me a lot. He has directed the skit and also written it. I have been the originator of this concept, linking the Indian aesthetic techniques to the corporate feedback world. So we are going to present you that today. And Aparna and Neha are going to be part of the role play here with me. Okay, so with that, let's start the session. So let me start with a quick, while there are few things which are showcased here, but I wanted to understand a quick audience poll here. How many of you know about Indian aesthetic theories, or you have Googled after you saw the heading of this session? Anything you have explored, understood? Okay, the name seems too heavy in the afternoon, but let me ask you the other way around. How many of you have attended painting exhibitions or dramas or dance performances? Pretty much everyone? Okay. So when you saw a particular dance or many of your kids also must be taking part in extracurricular activities, you go watch them, you appreciate any form of art in terms of, let's say someone of you, like literary, you are a book reader, you are a book critic, you may be also appreciating poetry, you may be appreciating drama, or even as simple as you go and watch a movie, right? So have you looked at movie reviews, book reviews? Do you know, is there any connection now between Indian aesthetics and this, what I'm saying? Now I have simplified the word for all of you. Any guesses is also fine. So Indian aesthetic is a very scientific way of appreciating any art form. Okay, so in our Vedas, especially if you see Samaveda, there is a lot of mention of how art forms should be appreciated. And we have a lot of wisdom in our Indian Vedas where the different Sanskrit poets, philosophers and guides have shared a very scientific way of appreciating an art. Now, I'm putting two different things together, right? You have an art form and you have a very scientific way to appreciate an art form. Typically, how do you appreciate any art? Like if you are seeing a painting, what do you all see in that? Sorry? The beauty of the painting, okay. Or anything more? The combination, how it looks, how it appears to you, okay. The meaning, what is the, what is it trying to tell you? Fantastic. So you're all already art connoisseurs, right? Because you can appreciate an art form. So what we are trying to do today is, aesthetic theories is any essential elements of appreciating any art form, whether it is in the literary, visual or performing art. How many of you attend, Bharatnatyam or Kathak dance shows or even ballets or any modern dance shows, right? You must have observed how they perform. and especially also the dramatics, what kind of expressions they give. So you focus a lot on many aspects in a drama. So whether it is any form of art, there is a lot of scientific way in which you can appreciate art, and these are called Indian aesthetic theories. If you research about them, if you just Google out on Anandavardhan, Bharat Muni, Kshemadra, Kuntaka, these are great Sanskrit poets, philosophers who have done a lot of research on how to just appreciate an art form. Can you believe it? The depth of Indian wisdom is how do you scientifically appreciate art? Now, having said that, the topic of today's conversation is not art in per se, but the art of feedback. So how do you link? So the way you appreciate the art and the way you can also appreciate the way you give and receive feedback. That is the way we are going to see how these techniques, the 4 different theories of Indian aesthetics. For example, if you are appreciating the art, the meaning of it, how it looks, how it sounds, how each of these can be applied to the way you give and receive feedback. And today we are going to present it to you in a form of a skit. So does that excite, is it exciting enough for you? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So let's look at the first form, and before that what I want to do is, before even I introduce you to the first form, I want to take you to in a corporate setting where we have Swayam International. I'm sorry. Manish is a director of Swayam International. This is the scene 1, a manufacturing firm, and Aparna is the program manager for one of the services company. And in scene 1, Manish and Aparna are discussing about the program status. They are trying to understand what are the different initiatives, what is the feedback on every initiative. We also have a Scrum Master Neha in loop. So Manish is also going to give some feedback on how Neha's performance is about and how she is keeping up the entire program challenge. So what we do is, without having any understanding of the aesthetic theory, just look at the context of the current conversation. We are not going to apply anything, any technique to their current scene. It's more to set the context. So let's watch the first skit.
Nice, Aparna. I'm happy to see that all the commitments have been delivered. And I know the production migration also went very smooth. I think we are making really good progress over here. I'm glad to learn that the team is able to keep their commitments very well. Congratulations.
Thanks for the appreciation, Manish. However, the complete credit goes to Neha, who is the Scrum Master of this program.
Speaking of Neha, I must say that she has done an incredible job in improving the commitment reliability, and that too in such a short span of time since she has moved in. I think you should convey my appreciation to her whenever you meet her next time. You're meeting her today, right?
Yes, that's right. I'll surely convey your feedback to her.
Okay. However, there is one area which really requires improvement, and that is overall test coverage percentage. I think the overall test coverage percentage is really less. Can you see what you can do about it?
Yes, definitely. I have seen it is at 60%. So rest assured, I am going to work along with Neha on the improvement plan, and she should provide you the improvement plan.
There's one more thing. She's conducting these agile training sessions for our staff, right? I don't think they're going really well. The number of people attending is really going down, and I didn't really get a favorable feedback for her performance. I think everybody said that she just rushed through the topics and wasn't really well prepared. I think the topics coverage was also very poor. So is there something that you can look into as well?
Yes, I agree to this since I have attended the training and I too feel the same. So rest assured, she will do it better next time.
Great, then I'll see you later. Thank you.
Thanks, Manish.
So now that the context is set and we have, we know what's the stage about, Aparna is now carrying some feedback in her mind about Neha and the overall program context. Hope the audience also understood the context. Manish being a customer, have shared a very candid feedback, and it's Aparna's duty as a supervisor, an HCM or a program manager to really translate that feedback to Neha in such a way that the improvements happen. Now, to do that, let's look at how Indian aesthetic theories are coming to our help, right? When we give and receive feedback, the way we appreciate art, the first technique is dhwani or sound. What does that shank tell you in the picture? And of course, there are some cues, right? We spoke about how we appreciate a painting or a drama or a movie. How does it sound? What vibe does it give me? What suggestion it has? Does that help me as an audience to feel valued or Does it bring something to me as a feel-good factor? I'm not talking about the message or the content of it. I'm talking about the environment of it. Is it suggesting something to me? Is there a tone or a hidden meaning, an aspect which is more deeper, which creates the vibe and the environment? So when you are also looking at Dhwani, which was invented by Anandavardhan, Dhwanyalok is his, one of the epic you can explore more, where he actually deep dive on Dhwani or sound as a mechanism to appreciate art. And now how does it apply to feedback? Means, okay, Dhwani is good, but how does Dhwani apply when we give or receive feedback? It is a very effective tool when you are giving feedback to anyone. Are you trying to do all these things? Now, instead of me saying anything, let's watch the scene 1 where we have Aparna, who is the program manager, and Neha, who is the scrum master. How Aparna is enacting Dhwani, and how Dhwani being at play, how the conversation is actually impactful. So let's watch it.
Hey, hi Neha. How are you doing today? And how was your vacation?
Hi Aparna. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good too, thanks.
And my vacation was fantastic.
Nice. You had been to Manali, right?
Yes, and it was really pleasant over there.
Cool. So, should we get on to our main agenda?
Yeah, sure.
Well, first of all, Neha, congratulations on the successful delivery of the phase 2 modules. Your team and your effort is really appreciated. And yes, definitely, especially your contribution to the program, which has been appreciated by Manish as well. When I was talking to him today morning in the program review meeting, he was very appreciative of the fact that you have worked with the team on their commitment levels. Within a short period of time, there is an improvement. So keep up the good work. I really appreciate your self-motivation.
Thank you, Aparna. Thanks for the encouragement.
Well, so should we also discuss on some of the areas of improvement?
Yeah, certainly.
So the test coverage is at 60%, right?
Yes, right.
And what I learned from Manish is he is definitely looking forward for some improvement in the test coverage. How do you think we can do it?
So I think we can introduce automation in the team. It will really, make testers work more, cover more test cases and all the regression suits in very less period of time. So yes, automation is one way I can think of.
Great, sounds good. I would let you know to talk to Manish on this and provide him the improvement plan that you are trying to achieve it through the automation. And if you need any of the help, please let me know.
Okay, we'll surely do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Neha.
So, how many of you observed any of these techniques applied? Any cues from the audience before I tell it? Anything which you observed? What Aparna was trying to do? She was very soothing. She started the conversation in a very open, she did not go to the point directly, and that's where also our high context thinking, comes into play, that you don't want to be so direct. You want to create an environment of being valued. And it was not over the top. It was a very casual conversation. She suggested in terms of, do you really want to understand what are the improvements after giving the positive part of it, right? Anything more you observed? How can we do it? So the suggestion. So yeah, I appreciate you observing the skit very closely. Fantastic.
She did not say that how can you do it, she said how can we do it.
Exactly. That's a very good observation from I to we. So that creates that environment of listening, the feeling of being valued and the vibe of it, right? It's not you alone. I'm not just blaming. I'm trying to say how we can together improve. So that's, yeah, you had some point? Offering help. Offering help is also a sign of suggestion. She's not pushing she's not pushing her agenda saying that you do it this way. She's saying, okay, if you think of any improvements, I am there to help. So that is how, Dhwani was at play. So with Dhwani in the play, is that enough? What is the next? So we did see the scene 2. Now let's go to the next one. The second technique is rasa or emotion. Very simple to understand, right? Emotions, feelings, body language, we all have it. And it is a very integral part in which even the art forms exist. Especially in the dance and dramatics, rasa has a very heavy, connotation. Unless you have a lot of investment in the rasa or emotion, you cannot bring out the art form. But for feedback also, do you have any question? Sorry. For the feedback also, let us see now, if rasa or emotion, I wanted to bring you how if it is played at an anti-pattern way. So in the next conversation, what we are going to see is Aparna, who has been discussing with Manish, and definitely it's not a green status. While the program status may be okay or good, but there are a lot of improvements which Manish was suggesting. So Aparna is carrying a bit of being upset that not everything is fine, and I need to really work on it, and I need to get this done. So there is an emotion, a slight bit of agitation, anger, but if she brings it over the top for the message what she is trying to do, the rasa or emotion played as an anti-pattern, how will it look like? Let's watch in the scene 3, and let's look at how Aparna converses with Neha and how Neha responds.
Neha, I attended your agile training session which you conducted recently for the client. It was a total flop. I don't think you were prepared at all.
But I conducted it in spite of so much of work and delivery pressure. You know about the big milestone coming
This was
up.
just one training in last 4 weeks, right? We had discussed on the content. Have you seen the ratings from the trainees, attendees? I had also given you so much of content, so much of material. Then what was the issue?
But I did not get enough time to prepare it thoroughly. Why don't you understand that?
Come on, there are always excuses from your side.
You always think that I'm lacking in something or the other in whatever I do. You never appreciate whatever I do.
Forget it. It's not going anywhere.
So audience, how does the vibe in the room immediately change when you go from and guys, they are not stage actors, okay? They are scrum masters and coaches like you and me. So please pardon if they forget their dialogues.
It is what happens on a Monday afternoon.
Oh, she didn't forget, she yawned, okay. That's fine. I think she's doing a good job with Rasa, so I can still. You could feel the vibe? Did the room's vibe change? Yes. Fantastic. That's the power of Rasa or emotion, right? And what did you observe? What were your findings?
Body language completely changed.
Completely change of body language. She was. The discussion was going nowhere.
So when one person was challenged, the other also tried to overpower.
So they were trying to overpower, being defensive. Fantastic. Lack of emotion? Lack of positive emotion. Yeah, this is an anti-pattern rasa. Yeah, so I can. Lack of empathy. Absolutely, she went on like a, Bhallar Deva's Rath. You've seen Bahubali? How they go? So this was Bhallar Deva's Rath, Aparna's Rath on Neha. Fantastic. So you've seen how, rasa, it's good. But while in dramatics you might, or in dance form, naturally to bring out an emotion, it's very important. When you are giving, and how many of we do this, not in so much, the way actually we enacted, but in subtle forms, does it sound? On Teams also, do you feel your voice raised? You get agitated when you are hungry and the call is near 1:30 p.m. Especially bad time to have call, and someone pings you and with not a good news and they want you to join some call, they try to pull you on Teams. How does it feel? Very agitated, right? So rasa, when it starts, overpowering your feedback discussion, it goes nowhere. And of course, there are other techniques where we will see how the anti-patterns can be converted into better patterns. So rasa, I wanted to show it more as an anti-pattern here so that, the messaging becomes much more prominent. Now, moving ahead, we did the scene 3, rasa was at play. The third dimension of Indian aesthetic wisdom is auchitya. Someone's called out initially about the meaning. Why, for example, when we are appreciating any art form, we try to identify, okay, for example, that art on, that room there, when we enter, we must be seeing, okay, does it have any meaning or it is just a random modern art? And then if we cannot identify our meaning, I think we also saw in the previous presentation, our mind tries to make some maps around what we know. So unless we have, if we are also appreciating any art form, we also try to understand the science behind it. And when we talk about science, we talk about data. So what is the rationale of the art being existent? Because art forms, in the olden days, even in the Indian Vedic wisdom, art was never just a thing to, go appreciate and leave it. It also had to make a social impact. And to have a social impact, it needed to carry a meaning or a justification or a rationale. And the aesthetic wisdom tried to make the audience actually feel what is the meaning of this art, try to identify it. So the critics of yesteryears, and of course our own book critics, movie critics, drama critics, they try to do this, right? The people who appreciate painting, they will try to find the meaning and justification of the art form. Similarly, now if I apply it to the corporate feedback, it is much more simpler, because when we give feedback, we need to base it on data. It's a no-brainer. So Auchitya is the most prominent way in which a feedback can be effective. Unless you have data points, you can have a very good environment, you can have a positive rasa, but if you don't have Auchitya in it, the feedback doesn't count, right? Because you are saying you have not done a good job. Give me the data why I did not do a good job, or give me the data. Nobody asks data when they say you do a good job. They will only ask data when you say you didn't do a good job, right? But nevertheless, when you even appraise someone in your appraisal systems as a supervisor, you need to give data. So let's look at the next scene between Neha and Aparna, how Auchitya is at play when the feedback is being given.
Neha, I was saying this innovation index for your team was 0. That is worrying. Actually, there are no innovations or improvisations implemented by your team in this quarter.
Yes, but we deliver whatever we committed through on all the sprints throughout the quarter. And there is no failure as such. And every stakeholder is also happy, right?
I agree and I do appreciate. However, you need to understand the importance of innovation. Nowadays, you would have seen most of the organizations are positioning innovations within the business and the strategic context. Innovation plays a bigger role when it comes from the shift of the mindset from the project to the product. Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree.
As well, unless you bring in the innovations, soon your teams might feel lack of motivation or they will feel monotonous. They need some challenges to look forward to, right?
Yes, I do see your point now. So I'll look into it from now on.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I don't need to say anything. Please share your thoughts on this. What did you observe? Were there any clear data points given from both sides? Like what? So how they register the innovation index in the system, yes. So she was very clearly, bringing that point that while sprint is green, innovation index is quite low. Anything else which Neha was trying to give?
Before rational, her tone was a little bit of defensive, but after giving the rational, she was like, I can accept this.
I really appreciate you linking Dhwani and Auchitya here. Definitely, when you are challenged by data, whether you are on any Dhwani, any rasa, you will come down. You see, even there is a pattern to the vibe, right? You have Dhwani which sets a very positive vibe in this room. You have rasa in an anti-pattern way which kind of disrupted the vibe of this room. Now you brought it down to Auchitya where it's kind of, settling down to more data oriented. You're not looking more at, how it is sounding or how it is being felt. It's more on the data. The focus is also on data. So definitely, our Sanskrit, if you see Sanskrit poet Shemadra, he actually, and he invented it he's a poet, he was a poet himself. So you can imagine how much importance was there for poetry to have the logic or justification. And for our feedback ways, I think this is the most intuitive way in which feedback can improve. So moving ahead, this is the scene which we enacted, and Vakrokti or articulation. Now, that is the apex of the conversation. How your conversation should, bring together all the things in terms of whether it is Dhwani, whether it is Rasa, or whether it is Auchitya. Vakrokti is a melting pot of the entire story. How you figuratively express something, how do you articulate? So any art form, linking it back to the art forms, if the drama has amazing rasa, if the environment which was created by, when you entered the auditorium, it was quite good, you liked the way the things felt, the startup was very good. But if towards the, the actual climax, if the articulation of the drama or movie failed, how do you feel? What kind of feeling you take with you? Didn't click, right? Whether it's a movie or a drama or any dance or even a book. For example, many of us are book readers. If the book, the page is good, the covering is good, the author is well known, all of that dhwani is fine. The book has a lot of emotions, it triggers emotions in you. But if it is not well expressed, not articulated well, there are no right figurative expressions at right time, you start losing interest. Similarly, when you want to make any feedback conversation, take it to its climax or apex, Vakrokti or articulation plays a very important role. Kuntaka, who was a literary theorist, he developed this theory called Vakrokti or articulation. And similarly, when we are applying it now to the feedback, you will see what will, the anti-pattern which we were trying to see in rasa, where everything disrupted, the conversation did not reach its outcome. How does it change? And the same conversation now, observe how Vakrokti treats it. So let's watch it.
Neha, I recently attended the training session which you conducted for the client. It was good. However, knowing your potential, I feel it can be improved.
Thank you, Aparna. Please let me know, what did you observe?
Well, what I felt is whether delivery was good, the content was little insufficient. Maybe you did not get sufficient time to go through the material that I had shared with you.
Yes, actually, I did not get the time because of the delivery, and I thought I'd be able to complete and work on the training part in the very last week, but it does not go as planned. So I would have shifted it to next week or maybe sometime else, but I did not do that as well. So I think I need to work on my planning as well as content part.
Yes, because definitely since we saw that the feedback from the attendees was even not so good on the content that was delivered. So definitely there is a need for improvement. And however, yes, I am sure that you are good in tackling all such issues. So I am sure you would work on the improvement plan. It's always pleasure working with you, Neha, and I have a full trust on you. You are well capable of handling all such challenges.
Thank you, Aparna.
So audience, how many of you observed the figurative expressions or any other things, which even we have not observed, but I think you are very good at observations. So something which we will learn today. She praised her, yeah. Yeah, rather than praising, I think it was more about evoking that she can do better and how she can really challenge herself, if I may put it. Trust, yes. So articulating that trust was very important.
Another good thing is she didn't take Mani's name, just to add a pressure that I also.
She didn't take the client's name, yeah. What was she doing in the other rasa? She was continuously putting a pressure. In Vakrokti, she said it's between us, right? She was trying to create more trust between them.
She made her self-analyze herself and understand.
Self-retrospection was very important. So, putting those in form of words, because we want them to do it, but saying that, okay, come in a retro versus, the way you articulate itself, the person starts self-introspecting. So, this way of receiving or giving feedback, if you yourself are receiving feedback from your leaders or you are as a leader giving that feedback, if you are able to put those dimensions of Vakrokti or articulation in place with the right amount of dhwani at the start and the weightage given by Auchitya and a balance, imagine only without rasa if entire conversation goes, that's also not good, right? Rasa is that salt which you need to put. If you don't put the salt, but if you put too much salt, then it, completely the taste goes away. So I think in totality, whether it is dhwani, whether it is rasa, whether it is Auchitya, and of course at the climax Vakrokti, how do you really, balance out the whole equation? And I know we have lot of, all of you, I'm sure the HR takes a lot of workshops where feedback, is a key point, right? It's nothing to do with agile per se. It's more about a performance feedback, or as an organization, feedback matters to us. Whether it's a client feedback, we even take feedback from customers. So unless we have, we have a lot of management theories around receiving and giving feedback. But if we kind of go back to our roots and just apply these 4 simple techniques, And it does not mean that you have to apply this feedback only in a corporate world. Imagine you are doing this. The other day I remember Manish telling me he was trying to do it with his interior designer. He was trying to give him feedback, okay, trying to apply dhwani and all. I said, that's good. He was trying to apply it in a, interesting way. So you can do it, the point is you can do it anytime with anyone. It's not that you have to just apply it in a very formal setting. It could be a very informal conversation, whether you want to have some hard discussions with your friend or with your family members. I think these 4 techniques, and I'm really thankful to these great Sanskrit philosophers, poets, and the Indic wisdom, where we have such hidden gems. Our job is to explore them and utilize them more and more. So I would, want to take the Q&A now, and I know what's the time we have? 9 minutes. Okay. And also we have a homework. We were trying to do it today, but Manish, you can give them a situation later after the Q&A so that they can do it at home, because we thought we will enact it and have a role play amongst the audience, but I know, the session timing will not allow it. So any questions before we share that situation, and you can, do it offline if you wish to. Okay, what we'll do is, no, the role plays will not be possible from the audience, but I think we will still give them it as a food for thought. Sure. But I wanted to take any open questions around it. I don't think it's so difficult to understand. You all have, absorbed it so well right from the beginning. But if there are any open questions, of course, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or any one of us. Yes? Thanks. Fantastic. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, good work done by everybody and nice way to present it.
Thank you.
I feel this can work also upwards, right? It may not be only with...
No. As I said, you can, give your feedback to you. It could be a 360-degree feedback. Absolutely. Right. Nothing. Immediately you can apply it with your leader, or show the snippet of this. Ask them to attend my session. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So can we also try it with our clients? I mean, have you ever tried it out?
I have. In fact,
okay.
I do a regular, it's a bit of my coaching with my customers. It's a very regular intervention I do with my customers, the tech leads and engineers, as well as even with the CIOs. Why not? They love it, actually.
Okay.
They apply it, and it also amazes them. See, it's a bit of an element. It's my also personal selfish motive that I want to really challenge the Western management theories all the time, so many books, but we don't get into our own roots, So I was lucky enough to have the APGI platform to really present this, and of course I might present it in some international conference if they appreciate this point. I had actually submitted, but my other paper got selected, not this. So I know there must be some unconscious bias at the moment. But yes, being in Pune, especially, I thought, this can definitely carry weightage.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would really like to appreciate Manish, lot of hard work in putting the script in place, articulating. I had this thought, I had this innovative idea, but the execution in form of script, how to make Aparna and Neha learn the dialogues. All credit to Manish and Aparna and Neha for continuous practice around it. So yes, Manish, you can share the last, situation and they can work. Yes.
So I think we can add one more use case, like one person is calm and the other person is aggressive. Right? Like in that case, like how do you suggest?
The personality is changing, right?
Yeah.
Good. I need to improvise it for my next session. Thanks for articulating that feedback for me. Yeah, it's good. It's a personality dimension to the whole thing. I really like it.
So I'll take that
yes, sure, Manish,
answer.
Please.
Take that question. So basically, people have 3 basic personality types, right? Aggressive, submissive, or passive, or assertive, right? So assertive is the right balance between an aggression and passive way of communicating, right? The aggressive people versus passive people both have exactly the same reasons for being what they are, right? It's the reason that they want to be liked, they don't want to be challenged, they're insecure, right? Under the hood, they feel the need to be appreciated. So one adapts the ability to please people by saying nice things, accepting everything which is right on the table, and the other one tries to dominate the entire conversation by saying, I need this to be done this way, right? But the assertive is right balance between them. So if you really want to, I mean, of course, there are more techniques, right? There is verbal judo at play that can come in. But if you're actually dealing with an aggressive person, right, and even a passive person, for example, who's impacting your way of your day-to-day working, or making you emotionally challenged at work, right? So assertive communications techniques do come in play, where you very clearly articulate that what is it that you have done which is affecting me and how I'm feeling, right? So there is a typical desk approach. You can Google about it. It's a very famous concept. So basically, you describe what is going wrong. You express what you are feeling, what emotions have been hurt, what emotions are there in your mind. Then you specify what is the change that you need in this person's behavior, right? And you do tell what are the consequences going to happen if this change does not happen. So for example, if you do not talk to me properly in front of my team, I will not be motivated to work in this project anymore, or I'll move away. Or positive consequences, that if you talk to me nicely in front of my team members, then I'm going to be more motivated, and you can always tell me things that I need to improve in a separate room. So that ways you need to kind of bring that technique into play when you're actually dealing with a very aggressive person. I hope it answers.
I don't remember the concept, but I had gone through that training where they said that what are the techniques that you have to use when a submissive person is working with or talking to an assertive person versus assertive.
Right. So passive person's example I'll give you, right? If I was a passive person and I do something which really affects you, right? If I keep cutting you short in your when you are speaking, right? And you come and tell me, and I'm a passive person, I'm going to say, I didn't really mean it that way. Why do you think? I think so nice things about you, but you still feel that I'm trying to overpower you. That's not the way. I mean, TK, you take a leave tomorrow if you feel this way. So now I'm trying to please you, right? But that behavior is not acceptable to you. So you can still tell this person, no, don't go anywhere. Don't go into all this emotional drama bazi. Talk to me on this fact and let's correct this together so that we can continue. I hope that answers.
Fantastic. Thanks. And Manish is really a good actor himself, a director. So it's very
Absolutely
handy when
not.
you have an idea and you have an execution, amazing execution around it. So thanks, Manish, for pitching in that. I know we don't have much time, but I think you can just share that.
I'll quickly make you imagine this, right? Think I'm the client, okay? And you are all program managers, and think I'm talking to you one-to-one individually, right? And there is something that has gone wrong, and I'm going to be talking to you about it, right? There's this person in your team called Akshay, right? Now Akshay is your Scrum Master, and something has happened. Akshay is not very happy with the entire setup, right? Akshay, I'm the client. Akshay comes to me, makes the cardinal sin of telling the client that he doesn't want to work over here, right? So I'm pretty upset about it. Now imagine I'm talking to you one-to-one, and this is how I'm going to go about it. Listen, I don't know what exactly is going over here. Something is majorly wrong, but Akshay came to me and told me that he doesn't want to work over here anymore. I don't know what you people are doing in the background, but he comes and tells me there is no challenge left whatsoever in this project. I don't think that is right, because the code quality is extremely poor, the defects count is increasing. So I don't buy this when he says that the challenge in the project is over. Unacceptable. And what he's telling me, he's looking for a new job. Are you aware of this? So are you going to look into this problem, or should I be left wondering why do I have a program manager in the first place?
Right. So
now here I have been very aggressive with you. If you thought if I was talking to you, I've been very aggressive. What you need to do is imagine how you're going to articulate your response or feedback to Akshay,
right,
including all these 4 dimensions in play, how you're going to validate, or what auchitya you're going to put in, what is going to be your tone, because Akshay at the end of the day is a good performer.
yeah, we would definitely have loved if we had time to play it out, select a couple of volunteers and enact it now in front of you using you as the role players. But nevertheless, I think you know the situation. Please do it as a, home activity or any situation. Try to enact applying Dhwani and Auchitya and Rasa and Vakrokti and see how it fetches you. Try to experiment it with your team. And thank you for today. I think thank you for being such a wonderful audience and participating in all the, steps with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jui. Thank you very much. We did enjoy the rasagrahan of your session. Thank you. And we, Dhwani and Pratidhwani also, with your thoughts. My Vaktotva is not that good that I realize, so I take that feedback on my own. And maybe let us have this Auchitya to felicitate you. Wow. Maybe you can help us, Namrata, here. Namrata.
Everyone, please wait for a minute. There is an announcement. So those who have not collected their bottles yet, please, go. It has been kept outside, so you can collect it still if it is pending. The physical retro board is there outside the majestic room. So in case you want to give additional feedback or any comments you have to put in, how the entire sessions are going on. So please do that. And we are going to have a tea break for 30 minutes, and then this again we are going for the common sessions where the entire, these rooms are again going to be merged. So see you after 30 minutes. Thank you all.